Hello and welcome to episode 46 of Fallen Dragons. I'm Mike. I'll be your DM for tonight. And I'm here with three of my players. I'll throw it over to them, let them tell you who they are and what they do. And I'll start with Robin.
Hi, I'm Robin. I am playing Kenna. She's a tiefling and she's a multi-classed bard and fighter.
And then Jenks below that.
Hi, I'm Will. I play Jenks, the lovable barbarian, Batfolk. Uh, that's about it for me.
And now over to the fall.
Hello, I'm LaFall. I'm playing a fighter champion, half dragon, half gold, silver, and half human.
No. And last, uh, we played Fallen Dragons. The group was getting ready to uh, take a job trying to find a missing diplomat from the neighboring country. And because of various issues, today is the day that you have everything and can actually leave, start looking for this guy. Um, the border between Canamir and Gelborn isn't all that far from the capital city. Uh, what you guys have to figure out is how you want to go about getting into Canamir and getting information and then going and finding the guy. Because Canamir is not a friendly place. Especially to random groups of adventurers and such. Yeah. So are you guys gonna make a plan on how you do this or what?
Well, I don't know what you all arranged from the last time because I missed our last grouping, so
Oh,
I'm
we
leaving
didn't.
in your all's.
I think we didn't play last time.
Though, where you guys were the last time a significant number of you got together, because the last time was just a side thing because
Mhm.
I think there was only a couple of you. Um, but you guys you'd gotten supplies and you were actually getting ready to head out on this uh, escort mission to find this uh, diplomat from Canamir that never showed up in Solaria like it was supposed to.
Oh,
So,
well, I know we gotta load up the cart. I know
yeah.
we gotta get it on the road somehow.
Yeah. And, you know, uh, Nala and Korai are just sort of squished up against the supplies and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
So, who wants to drive?
I
Because
guess I'll take the reins. I can drive.
okay, because I'm going not gonna lie, I am not trained to pull a cart. Well, I mean drive a cart, I should say.
and we'll say by the time you actually get all the supplies together and get on the road,
Right.
it's actually about midday. So you'll end up getting to the uh, border with probably by dark. That's if everything goes smoothly.
And as far as getting into Canamir, I don't think we should have much trouble. I mean, it is their delegate we're supposed to be escorting, so all we have to do is tell them who we are.
Right. I mean it's the simple laws of physics right there. You got just go in, you tell them what you got, and then we
Well,
go.
Right, it's
I'm
not
sure.
like we're just random travelers.
Right.
well,
Do, do we have
you,
anything that kind of says that we're allowed to do this sort of thing?
what what
No.
paperwork what paperwork you have on you is the grant from the king saying that this is your job, and when you get done, you'll be paid for it.
Right. So all we have to do is show this little beauty
And
up to a guard, and the guard's gonna be like, "Oh, well, that's good and well."
uh, and you basically have paperwork that tells you what the guy's name that you're looking for and gives a general description of him, so you'll know him when you see him. But so you guys start moving your wagon uh, out of Solaria. It's going to be, like I said, a good 8-hour trip.
Right. So since it's gonna be a bit of a ride, I should get the guitar player. I should get my lip playing.
There's
Well,
nothing wrong with practicing.
what?
Put cotton balls into the dead's ears.
Well, if you do this, if you start practicing, give me a performance roll to see how if, if people liked what you did or
Okay.
how well it turned out.
All right. That's one. Where's my D20? Ah, there it is. All right. So 1D20 performance. Oh, 15.
Eh, even practicing sounds fairly decent now.
Oh, that's a lot better than it used to be. I guess I'm getting better at this.
Seem to be.
Uh, at least they didn't throw you off the cart when you were done. So.
That's true.
So, the land between um, Gelborn and Canamir changes dramatically when you get closer to Canamir.
Mm.
Um, around Solarian, most of Gelborn, it's almost seacoast terrain. You, you start going inland toward Canamir, and it becomes almost mountainous territory.
So basically Hawaii.
Yeah. And anybody that wants to can give me a perception check.
Doing perception.
24.
15.
Okay.
13.
Y'all rolled well enough that you look up in front of you as you're headed toward Canamir, and off in the distance, you see three volcanoes go off at the same time.
Well, it looks like we're screwed.
And terrain like that is what you're headed into. Because Canamir as an entire kingdom is like that.
Mm.
Just to give you a little background on what you're going to see and what you're walking into.
Well, if one of those volcanoes going to give me the creeps, so many they're going off. Do they always go off like this? I mean,
Actually, fairly frequently, yeah.
oh, okay.
So how are the horses reacting to this volcanic activity would be my question. Are they like getting skittish or
Um, give me a give me an animal handling roll with disadvantage because they smell the volcanic sulfurous smells long before you guys did.
And the
okay,
sonic,
animal handling with disadvantage.
not to
Okay.
mention the sonic boom would spook them.
Ooh, 6.
Yeep. Well, looks like we're going for a ride.
Well, uh, let me see how bad this is going to get. the oxen do um, struggle out of your grip, basically, but you are able to scramble down and grab them before they bolt in a different direction. Um, yeah, the closer you get to Canamir, the worse the area is and the hotter it is. So, yeah, the animals, I can't remember whether you bought oxen or horses, but
I think we were using horses.
Yeah,
okay. Um, I was just thinking about the wagon part, but
so I'm going to try to calm them down before I climb back up.
yeah. Uh,
Can I do a help action and play kind of like a lullaby? Well, not lullaby, but a soothing song for the horses.
you can do that.
All right, so performance. That's this isn't going to be good. Well, I know my son could be worse than before. Here we go. Nine.
Uh, you start playing, and the horses are like, eh, so what?
Everybody's a critic.
Yeah. So, um, the problem going to be the closer you get to Canamir, the worse the conditions are gonna get. So,
So maybe I won't get back up and drive the wagon. I'll just take the horses by the reins and sort of walk with them, try to pull them along.
so you can try and do that.
Yes, I'll try to do that.
Dice to fail. Dice to
The after a bit, you realize that it's going to be sunset soon. And you're about, what? You're about a couple of miles from what it looks like to the gates of Canamir. Um, I would say you could either camp for the night and where you are and go on in the morning, or you could try and see if you could get there before the sun went down.
I say we push on.
Oh, I'm going to try to push on. I mean, you have nowhere else to go, right?
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Okay. Um, and in a couple of hours, you actually get to this massive arched tubular metal gate with uh, four dwarves on the other side, two on each side of the door. And they're looking at you and basically going, do you want in? Are you just hanging out outside the gate? Or
Oh, we're actually here on business, lad. We got a piece of paper somewhere. Here it is. I hand over the sheet to the guards.
uh, he shows it to a older looking dwarven gentleman standing there. He nods, and they hand the piece of paper back. The two of the guards open the gate. The older gentleman, older dwarven gentleman standing there, introduces himself as Gravis. He says, I am envoy for the king and queen. It has been requested that you be given lodgings for the night, and then the king and queen would like a meeting with you.
Okay, what time do they wish to see us?
Well, after breakfast, they figure you are tired from your trip, so you could meet them tomorrow after breakfast.
That should be all right.
It sounds good to me. I mean, my belly's got a bit of the grumblies.
Yeah. So, as you guys walk around out by the edge of the gate, basically trying to realize where in the world you are, basically the streets in front of you look like lava. There, there's people of all races just casually walking down the street. And to you, you're like, how in the world could they do that? But you guys have to if you're gonna walk in the gate.
So you're talking like molten lava rather than hardened, cooled lava?
I wouldn't say anything in Canamir is cool. There's an undercurrent of intense volcanic heat that runs through everything. So
So we need to play the ground as lava and jump. Try to climb up things then?
yeah,
Well, we could try to buy whatever shoes the locals are using. I'm sure they're a bit fireproof. I don't think they're walking around at bare feet here, are they?
nah.
I look down to make sure that nobody's walking in bare feet.
No. And the guard you're standing just a little bit away from walks up to you and points to the east. And I need perception checks from everybody.
Hey, I got 17.
26.
21.
So you all see what the guard is pointing to. And on what looks like, well, on what is the tallest mountain in the kingdom is where the king and queen live. And as I've mentioned before, the people of Canamir don't even trust their own king and queen. Okay? Um, so, so they are not very well liked, and every now and again somebody seems to disappear. Uh, all kinds of stories about that. Yeah. So, have you been invited? Have you been invited to see the king and queen? You need to get over there by morning. And if you want a good, quick end for the night, I'd say mile, maybe a mile east. There's a good inn over there. Other than that, you're gonna have to go into the city. And as you're making your way through, headed toward the inn, you see all manner of dwarves, elves, every race you could think of. But they all seem to be doing one thing. They're involved in some way of mining minerals out of the very mountain that the king and queen's castle sits on. You just see them go in and out with no real expression on their faces. They just do it. So within a 10-15 minutes, you actually reach this inn that the guard told you about. The name of the inn is written in Dwarvish, so unless one of you has Dwarvish, you can't really read the name of the inn.
Now, if it was in Infernal, I'd be all right, but no, I don't speak Dwarvish.
Yeah, but it's not nothing I can read.
Well, see, dwarves and dark mountain elves are the two best races for mining. So that's
Well, I do speak Drow, but that's it.
um,
Let me see. Well, where's my list again?
well, yeah. But as the dwarves don't really get along with the elves, and even though drow are elves, most other elves don't get along with them either. So, you tolerate them on holiday, but that's about it.
Mhm.
Um, you step into this inn and it's like basically a little log cabin almost,
Mhm.
which with all the fire bouncing around, having an actual log cabin doesn't seem real intelligent when you think about it. But
Yeah, there is that.
Well, must be fireproof, I guess.
you guys walk in, and how do you find a table, or do you stop at the bar, or what do you want to do?
So we'll head for an open table.
Yep. And if there ain't one, I'm making one.
Yeah. Way to start off in a good mood on a new job. Yeah. Uh,
I'm tired. I'm grumpy. I'm hungry.
um, you you see this. Um, you would almost call it the standard dwarf. Yeah, red hair, beard down to his knees. You know, that sort of thing. You
He or
walk.
she.
It's it's an actual he. He says, "Hello, I'm Dagnus. I'm the owner of this place. What can I do for you?"
Need food, drinks, and rooms.
You're in luck. We have all those things. Uh,
Nothing alive that will beat this one up. Pointing at the back.
and Dagnus just sort of looks in between the two of you, goes, "Okay."
I wave
It's
with a
like,
big
Yeah,
smile on my
he's got a
face.
bit of a history with his food trying to kill him. So yeah, there's that.
Well, yeah, there was the pillbug incident, and there was there was the
Squid.
squid,
yeah.
and there was the
And
incident with the chair.
bar stool, yeah. See, the food thing is one thing, but when you get beat up by inanimate bar stool, then
Then I should have
that's
just retired.
right. Mm. But um, are you gonna ask the owner anything, or are you just gonna order food and go that way?
I might ask him one question or two. Say, well, what's with the mining?
Mm. That's how the country makes all of its money.
Yeah, what the guy's taking for? I mean, it's interesting.
Oh, we as a country supply most of the minerals for everything that Gelborn and um, the kingdom to the west of us. Erdmore, that's it. Um, Erdmore and Gelborn are more artistic countries. We just supply what they need to do what they do.
No, as you do.
Um, the three, well, I'll take that back. Gelborn and Erdmore get along together quite well. They don't really trust us very much.
No, don't shame that they don't. I mean, I can tell skill when I see it. You guys are working really hard. Well, it's damn shame they don't give you the respect you need.
I'm sure the two other countries on a personal level could care less. It's the king and queen that they don't trust.
Speaking of which, we're actually got an appointment to meet with your king and queen tomorrow morning. Is there anything we need to know about them in particular?
Yeah, they're both mages, and people have gone up to visit them and never came back. And
Oh, that's a bit disheartening, considering
Yeah,
we're
why?
supposed to meet with them.
I mean, they're going to that puts a temper on things.
I'd be careful if I were you.
Sounds like, yes, we should make every effort to be careful. Is there anything we shouldn't mention to them, for example, or anything like that?
Not that I know of, but I guess it would depend on what temperament they were in at the moment.
Oh, right. So that's temperamental. Wonderful. I mean, I played for him, but knowing my skills and loyalty, that's just,
Yeah,
oh boy.
I who knows? They might like the novel entertainment. Uh, when the sun goes down and you guys settle into your rooms, in the end, you notice that if you look out the window, that two moons appear, one on either side.
Oh boy.
You've never, yeah, you haven't been all over the continent, but you've been around enough, and you've never really ever noticed that there were two moons.
Was that always there?
And I need the two of you to give me a history roll to see whether you remember if you'd seen them before.
All three of us, or who do you need a history roll from?
It'll work either way.
All right, I'll roll. Yay! I rolled a
What?
I rolled a 4.
15.
9.
Neither of you ever really remember a time when you looked up and you saw 2 moons in the sky. Yeah. This is kind of strange to all of you.
Oh, I'm sure it's nothing important.
Uh,
Oh,
you
I'm
see,
sure. I'm
you
sure
see,
it's
you see the other people around you walking around like normal. Uh, um, all three of you give me another history roll.
17.
A
21.
20 total.
So you realize something. Before you can go visit the king and queen tomorrow, you have to find a way to get there. And at least one of you has to um, come up with a plan to get there. Because none of the three of you are mountain climbers per se. So.
What do you mean? I lived my whole life in the mountains.
Well, yeah, you can fly.
Well, I was just going to say, couldn't LaFall just fly us there?
Eh, it's up to whether
I can fly as
Laval.
well. I mean, I got little batty wings.
Well, that's true.
I mean, all she had to do is carry you and Bob's your uncle. We're up there.
Right.
At least now you know how you're gonna do it. Uh, you're just hoping as you go to sleep for the night, you're just hoping that um, that the royal couple has mentioned to the royal guard that you're actually going to show up tomorrow. Uh, don't want them accidentally shooting the guest, you know, or stabbing the guest.
Well, then they just get the guests either burning them back or biting them in half.
Yeah, well, you ever know royal guard to be intelligent? Uh, so you guys, the rooms are kind of standard and they look nice, but it's a hotel room. Um, with as much as you guys travel today, by the time your head hits the pillow, you're unconscious. Um, you wake up the next morning there is in fact sun coming through all three of your windows. It's not the right color though. It's just the light coming through your window is almost a dark blood red color.
Hmm.
So do the three of you get up or
Well, yeah, I'm going to get up and go to the window and look out because that's a bit strange. I want to see what's going on.
I'm going to have a look outside as well. Might as well, you know.
you look up into the sky at this time where there was two moons last night. Now there one moon and one sun that are visible. It's like one of the moons got replaced by the sun. But the combination of the light between the two of them makes the normal sunlight a darker red color. So, how are you guys gonna set up your day?
I mean, might as well head down to breakfast first.
Yep.
Breakfast does sound good. Well,
Hmm.
I'll definitely come down. I'll be hungry.
So, you guys head down to the tavern part for breakfast. Um, there's a waitress standing near the doorway. She's a dwarf with a simple brown dress, but she has blue hair. Uh,
Okay, that's odd for a dwarf.
Mhm.
Um, so she sees the three of you walk in and sit down, and she walks over to the table. She says, "Hello, I'm Brenda. I'll be your waitress for this morning."
Hello.
And,
Nice to meet you.
and she puts three menus down in front of you.
Odd
Uh,
hair color you have for a dwarf.
yeah, got it from a trader that came through. Said, said it was temporary. That was like 3 months ago. Yeah. Be careful what you buy from people in wagons.
Right.
That
Yeah.
could have been worse, though.
Are your suns and moon effects like this all the time?
What now?
Dual moons at nighttime and a blood red sun?
Oh, From what I hear from history, it wasn't originally that way, no.
So, can you tell us what the story behind it?
Uh, Rather simple, actually. One night, I'd say 30 years ago, the king and queen were doing some sort of ritual, and the power draw off of whatever ritual they were doing is what changed uh, the moons and the sun.
So they're quite powerful mages then, I'm gathering.
Yes.
And why does the sense of feeling around here turn to hate about them?
Because they created Canamir to shoot themselves.
So, definitely one mess. We're going to be meeting with some archmages, I think. Oh, God.
I'm sure if you don't annoy them, they won't do anything to you.
Oh, I think we've already done enough to annoy them. At least I know I have. Whether they pick up on it or not, we'll see.
Well, if you're here on some kind of business, my advice would be you go see them tomorrow and then stay as far away from them as possible.
Sally,
Well,
they
we're
want to see
seeing,
us today
yes, we're
after
seeing them
breakfast.
today.
Oh. Oh yeah, it's morning again. Right. Um, Breakfast is pretty standard stuff. Only the sizes are bigger because dwarves eat more. Yeah. The waitress comes around and is like, "You guys ready to order?"
Oh, I'll have the flapjacks.
We can do that. Um, and then she turned her head to Kenna and, "How about you?"
I'll have a steak and a couple of eggs and whatever you've got for hot beverage, coffee, tea, something like that.
Okay. And our half dragon friend over here.
Steak, eggs, potatoes, waffles.
You just want to go the full breakfast this morning, huh? And um, the helpings here, the food sizes here, are already somewhat extra large because they're dwarf size. Um, Does LaFall want even more food than that?
Well, a dwarf size is still only a half of an ogre size, and I'd eaten 2 ogre size meals before and still wasn't technically eating. So I think I would need at least 4 dwarf size.
She says we can do that. And she turns and walks away and says, "Oh, I'll be back with that coffee in a minute." And a couple minutes later, she walks back up and sets a cup of coffee in front of Kenna. She says, "Everybody's food should be up in 10, 20 minutes."
How long would it take to get to the palace from here?
Probably a couple of hours.
Walking, riding.
Yeah. Well, walking, unless you're planning on taking the wagon up there with you. That's gonna make that descent up that mountain somewhat harder with that wagon. So you could do it, but it'd be really hard with 2 unconscious group members tied in the back of it.
So a few hours walking,
Yeah,
take about an hour flight. Okay.
right, yeah. And most of it's because you're going up. So around that time, the waitress brings your food. She says, she turns to you, LaFall, and says, uh, "Yours is done. I just have to go back and get it once I put this down." She heads back into the kitchen and then comes out with both arms, 4 plates on both 4 plates on both arms, and sets them in front of you and says, "There you go." Um,
Thank you.
Thank you kindly.
oh, and breakfast is just slightly after sunrise. They gotta be open for the uh, mining crews that come in every morning.
All right.
But so after you guys eat all this food she brought, um, what do you guys think you're gonna do today?
Well, we definitely have to go up and talk to the king and queen.
Yeah, but though, even though that's the hardest trip you'll make, the visit itself probably won't last long.
True. Uh, Not sure.
It doesn't matter. We have to get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way. Let's go. And then we get about our business finding the delegate.
Right.
So after roughly 2 hours walk, you were at the top of this mountain. One of the easy parts of it was people have walked up and down this path for so long that you could actually see it in front of you. You then find yourself standing at the front door of a towering black castle. The entire building is at least if not real solid obsidian, they decorated it that way. And there's in the doorway in front of you, about halfway up the door, is a large gold handle.
Reach up. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, a few minutes later, you hear some ruffling on the other side of the door. And the door opens, and an actual cyclops steps out of the doorway. Says, "Hello, I'm Kenji. What can I do for you?"
We've got an
Go
we
ahead.
have an appointment to speak with the king and queen.
Okay, wait here. I will go let them know you're here. And he leaves for a couple minutes and then comes back up. Says, if you'll follow me, I will take you to them.
Sounds good to me.
And you walk down the carpeted hallway. You turn left, and you're in front of massive wooden arched doorway that leads into a room that contrasts with everything around it. It's completely white from floor to ceiling, where everything else in this place has been as black as it can be.
Hmm.
And then you hear two sets of light footsteps walking toward you from further down the hall. And with no fanfare at all, the king and queen are now standing in front of you. They were walking down the hallway.
I let out a surprise. Yep.
And Kenneth sees something that she thought she'd never see. The king and queen are tieflings too.
Wasn't expecting that. No one mentioned that to us.
And oddly enough, both of them have skin of this dark burned orange color. And
Oh, that explains a lot.
they're like, hello, we are the king and queen of this country.
Greetings, Your Majesty. Oh, I'm Jinx. This is Korai. This is LaFar.
It's Kenna, actually.
Oh, can I? Sorry.
Well,
Excuse
Cora,
Korai's our healer.
cleric.
I can't. Cleric, yeah, healer. We were like a cleric, and she's not with us right now.
what?
And she's not being very active right now. There, they actually slightly bow to the group and go, how can we help you? And as you're talking, they're sort of ushering you into this all white room. Uh, and then the four of you are standing in the middle of this room. Or five of you. And they're like, how can we help you? Why did you set this up?
Well, we were the party that was meant to escort your delegate from here to Gelborn. But apparently he
Uh,
hasn't shown up, so we're looking for him.
oh, Corey, I think it was. Yeah. He never showed up in Gelborn.
No,
This is the first we've heard of this.
the first you've heard that he didn't show.
Yeah. We were starting to wonder because if he had gotten there, he should have gotten back by now.
Well, apparently he never made it out of this country.
The king stands up and sort of shakes his head a little bit. Why were we not told of these things? You know, we wondered when he didn't return and make a report, but to find out that one of my courtiers has been, for lack of a better word, murdered, and I don't find out about it for months.
Well, we don't know that he's dead. We just don't know where he is.
We're glad to look for the light. I mean, it's what we're here for, right?
Well, yeah, technically the reason you're here is to, like, find out where he started from and talk to them and yeah. The Queen said, you know, this is most distressing. He was wanting to go into training to actually be a private servant to the king and queen, and we sent him on this mission to try and see if he was good enough to do that.
Did he seem willing to accomplish this mission? I mean, what were his feelings about it? I'm wondering if he could have just decided he didn't want to do all that and disappeared on his own.
Uh, when you're on a mission for the king and queen, it would not be a good thing to just decide I'm not gonna do it and I'm gonna go home and
Well, I imagine, but did he seem the sort that would do something like that or not?
not really, because it was a simple thing that we're slowly trying to build better relations with Gelborn. So, we figured it'd be a good thing to have our diplomats get to know each other.
If someone wants to sabotage such a endeavor,
Well, yeah. There's 9 kingdoms on 3 continents in this world, and every kingdom has their own agenda. So, but we have a personal rival on the other continent. They're always trying to sabotage things that happen in this country.
What continent? Who? Where?
Well, there's 2 more continents to the west of here, and there's an entire continent down south of here. So, but if the if
Right.
the if the information about our rival kingdom becomes necessary, you'll have the information you need. So, you're telling me that you didn't run across anything between the capital of Gelborn and here?
Not the path that we took.
No.
Because if he was actually on his way there, but I don't know how many different ways to get there are, but I was just thinking if there's a dead body laying there, somebody has to have seen it.
Well, unless something got to it first and ate it, I suppose.
Well, there's him and half a dozen of his personal guard. It's not like he was by himself.
We were told he left something like 3 months, left here something like 3 months ago, so he definitely should have gotten there.
Yeah.
Unless he's, I mean, yes, having been murdered is an option, but he also could have been, kidnapped and being held captive by someone, or who knows,
Because
really.
there's been no ransom, right?
The king and queen look at each other and go, not that we've seen.
All right.
And him being an ambassador and diplomat, if somebody kidnapped him, they could ask quite a bit of gold for him. And we haven't heard of anything.
So if we didn't pass anyone, no word's been sent to you all or ahead to us to the
No.
to the empire we're here to represent right now.
Right.
That's going to say that possibly one of your rivals in another place is trying to undermine you right now.
Well,
They might have taken him. So we need to know about your rivals then.
um, let me see if I can find where I have this written down. The king scratches his head for a second and goes, that's an awful long way to come just to kill an ambassador and his guards.
Well,
Which
they may
leads me
not
to
kill him. They just might have taken him hostage.
and I have another question. These guards that he was with, how loyal do you think they were to you or to him? Could it be possibly some of them were working for your enemy and did the job themselves?
He had known his personal guards for many years. That doesn't mean something couldn't have changed, I guess, but it's not. I wouldn't know it if it did. That it would have been a private thing. So I movie. Oh, alright. The king starts to scribble something on a piece of parchment. You wanted to know who our rival was? It's the country of Xenos. It's in the southern part of the next continent over. It's a desert country.
Hmm.
That is an awful long way to come.
Yeah, just to assassinate a middle-level emissary. That'd be a lot of resources they'd have to use. They want, not related to this, but they want our manufacturing.
Well,
To,
there's a problem with that. If they try to get, I mean, you've been working with these metals for so long. Odds are they wouldn't even know how to use the stuff if they even came over.
I really don't want to see a dwarf on a beach,
I don't think a dwarf wants to be on a beach.
which if they tried to do mines and stuff, they'd bring in dwarves like these people have, except they're a sand country, so the dwarves wouldn't get along very well, I don't think. The mining dwarves. But
I give enough beer, anybody will get along.
the problem is if we give them our technology, they will attempt to take over the other two kingdoms on the continent, and we can't let them do that.
Right.
So, what do the three of you decide to do?
No, we
Well, it still
definitely.
sounds to me as though, like you said, that seems an awful long distance to travel to take him out. So it sounds to me as though someone in uh, Canamir may be working for or with your enemy and have planned this out with them. So looks to me like we're looking for something around here. Perhaps we ought to go talk to, is there a Thieves Guild about? Maybe they would have some information. They do seem good at information gathering.
Yes, we have the main Thieves Guild is at the bottom of the mountain, but there are a couple of others scattered along the edges.
I think we could try that, see if they've heard anything.
Well, and the queen gets this puzzled look on her face because she's like, If you would think if the Thieves Guild found out anything, they would tell us.
Unless they had a reason not to, but you would think so.
Well, this is a government matters.
I never can tell with those thieves types.
Just be prepared to possibly pay for the information, because they could have been paid off to keep silent.
True enough.
Because in Canamir, it doesn't look like, let's just say, you have a pretty good idea that the only two people with any actual wealth in this country are the king and queen, and everybody else is, you know, minors or people associated with it.
Hence the fourth, better be ready to pay for the information. So we can pay upfront and we'll bill you our payment price for the information if we find it and what it's going to cost to get it.
The king and queen are like, okay, I wouldn't envision it that it could cost all that much. But good luck, and hopefully the mission will go smoothly and you'll find out what in the world happened here.
We'll try our best.
You are basically shown back out the door. And it takes you a good little bit to get to the bottom of the mountain. But when you get there, you see that there is an actual, for lack of a better term, there is an actual city at the bottom of the mountain. People going back and forth. A lot of general store type things. So the place being this active has to have a thieves guild somewhere. So where are you guys headed?
See if there's anyone I can ask where the Thieves Guild is. I mean, you said it's a city, so there's got to be people walking around.
Yeah, there's people walking every direction all around you. You try and stop one of them.
Yeah, whoever's closest, I'll ask them if they could direct us to the Thieves Guild.
you ask what looks like a younger looking dwarf. Um, he looks kind of sideways at you and then points to his right, which is the direction you were going, and walks away. With this attitude of, you're older than me, why wouldn't you know where the thieves gold was?
So I guess we'll head in that direction then.
Okay. You basically walk all the way down to the end of this side road. And it has a um, small gray brick building at the end of the road. And it has the symbol for dwarven money on the top of the building. So what do you guys do? Do you try to get in or?
I'm
Yeah.
going. I'll wait for them to decide what we do.
Guess I'll knock on the door.
You knock on the door and this dwarf that's somewhat larger than your average dwarf, and he's wearing leather armor. He opens the door. What can I do for you?
We were rather hoping you might have some information for us. And I tell him about the situation with, this guy we're trying to find. And I would specifically like to know if you would happen to know if he personally had any enemies about, or anyone who might have had any reason to want him to go missing one way or the other. Any reason, anybody you think could have a reason that they wouldn't want him to go to Gelborn? Anything like that?
Well, nobody I can think of off the top of my head, but he's a politician type. Everybody wants to kill those. But he stops for a second. There were rumors a couple of days ago about somebody who looked like the emissary getting in a fight with a blacksmith down the street. But if he had been gone on his mission, it couldn't have been him. And I would think he'd be smart enough to know not to get in a fight with a blacksmith, but,
Well, sounds like we're going to have to go speak with this blacksmith.
and so he gives you directions really quick. He says it's like 2 blocks down that way. No, you guys get there fairly quickly. Um, can any of you talk to a bugbear?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because that's what you're seeing in front of you, swinging a hammer.
Not sure I want to see that.
And he looks down and sees the 3 of you and sort of growls like, "You're interrupting me, who are you?" sort of thing.
So do either of you speak bugberries or whatever language that you speak?
I only speak Drow and Common. I'm sorry. I got
Yeah,
nothing.
I only speak Infernal and
I reach
Common.
out in the street, pull the first dwarf I see inside.
Can dwarves speak to bugbears?
Yeah, it's similar. It's similar enough that they can communicate with each other.
Okay.
After the dwarf gets over this immediate shock, he looks around him and goes, "Okay, what was that about?"
You're a translator.
Okay. What am I translating?
Give him the whole spiel. We were told that someone looks like this gentleman who fought the bugbear here,
Oh,
and we're looking for him.
in fact, I need all 3 of you to give me a perception check.
17.
19.
What'd you get, Jinx?
Well,
Wake up,
I need
Jinx.
I need a perception check, dude.
all right, roll perception. Sorry, I kind of dozed off for a second there. Roll perception. 10.
Well, even in this situation, even you can see it. You look behind where the bugbear is standing, in what looks like a cupboard, maybe a quarter full with other things. But if you look close enough, you can see that most of the space in the cupboard is taken up by a body.
What? Okay. Well then, we better hit the old dusty trail.
Well, I'm going to walk a bit closer and see if it's him. See if, if it is the person we're looking for. It's just because it's a body doesn't necessarily mean it's this fellow.
Yeah,
So I'm going to go a bit closer and see if it is.
well, I mean, I did notice.
Give me an investigation roll.
24.
Nice.
You walk over the body. You move away some of the stuff that was partially piled on top of it. And then as you look at the body, all of a sudden it sort of slumps forward and partially lands on you, falling out of the closet. This is the guy in the picture that the King of Gelborn gave you. This is the guy that you were supposed to go find.
Ah,
We
it is
found him.
him. I guess we need to go back to the king and queen and tell them we know why he never showed up.
Right.
Well, no, I mean, we still don't know technically why, because this fight argument only happened a few days ago.
Right.
And this
Apparently
guy,
never left then.
and this guy supposedly left months ago, or was supposed to leave months ago.
Right,
Yeah.
well, I'm assuming only he knows why he didn't and can't ask him at this point.
Do you actually go over to make sure whether he's dead or not?
Well, yeah, I'm going to poke him.
The D&D version of poking. Give me a medicine check.
All right. One massive. Ooh. Okay. So that is. Yep. Just straight 18.
When you do a medicine check on him, he doesn't move.
I keep poking him.
You're just pushing him further and further back in the closet.
So I'm going to ask the dwarf to ask the bugbear exactly what happened between the two of them. Like, when did this guy come in? What did you fight about? You know, that sort of thing. Just
Uh,
and why did you think killing him was the only option you had?
Give, give me an investigation check to see how persuasive you are when you ask him all these things.
Did you want me to roll persuasion or investigation?
Well, whichever one is better for you.
Okay. 25. I'm actually rolling pretty good tonight. My
25
dice
on which one?
persuasion.
Uh, look, this one hasn't paid me for the last 2 jobs that I did for him. And when I brought it up, he started swinging at me.
Oh. Well, I guess it was self-defense then.
Right.
Only thing is, he wasn't even supposed to be here. He was supposed to be on a diplomatic business trip to
Envoy.
Gelborn.
I don't know anything about that. Uh, well, actually, I do, come to think of it. And he goes over to the table in the corner and brings back this satchel looking thing. Uh, he wanted me to put extra locks on this thing. He said he was about to go off and do something really important. And then, yeah, I did it and he didn't pay me. And then he asked me to do another. He asked me to make him a short sword, and I did, and he didn't pay me for that either. And I called him on it, he swung at me, and I swung at him, and mine landed, and his didn't. And
He said he was about to leave. That's strange. He really should have left here long before then.
I don't know anything about that. Um,
Okay, well, apparently we need to take the satchel regardless.
Well, of course, yes.
and he's like, should I just toss the body or what?
Um, it, that issue is between you and your kingdom.
Uh,
Because, I mean, he is a government diplomat.
oh, yeah,
Ought we to take the body back to the king and queen?
yeah.
That, I mean, just to give our story credence. I mean, if we showed up and tell them this, they may not believe us. If we have the body with us, they would.
Give it to
And
the constable.
they could do whatever they wanted with it.
Give it to the constable.
Yeah. Mm,
Well, I can't agree. I mean, the, if we go in with the body to the king queen, they might think we did it, and they might want to execute us.
There is that. We do keep hearing about what sort of people they are.
Right, right.
yeah.
Which could just be, I mean, the tieflings, and it could just be tiefling prejudice.
Yeah, that could be too. Had enough of that.
Mm. Well, there has been stories of them using some of their subjects every once in a while for a magical experiment. Yeah. You don't necessarily think they're great people, but you're not sure what sort of connection they have to why this guy didn't not only didn't show up but didn't even leave town to begin with.
Right,
And
In any case, I think we've gotten all the information we can get out of the bugbear here.
right.
Yep. So, like I said, give the body to the constable, let him deal with it. I'm not carrying it back up to the palace.
mm,
Well, I mean, sounds like the guy disobeyed a direct order. He's
well, you can easily find a constable to drop the body off at because
mhm.
there's as you get closer to the king and queen's castle, there's more security, and especially the later it gets. So you can drop the body off and then decide how you're gonna tell the king and queen about all this.
Well, Your Majesty, long story short, the guy's dead.
Perhaps we ought to bring the blacksmith with us so he can explain, as long as we've got an interpreter, of course.
Right, but the problem is, when he explains the situation, I hope he doesn't get executed. I mean,
Well, he
pretty
did
much
kill him. I mean,
right, but at the same time, seems like the guy was disobeying orders to begin with.
well, right. But honestly, that's out of our hands. As long as all we really need to do is relay the information to the king and queen. What consequences come from that are not really up to us.
Right, it would feel bad.
So you make your way back up to the castle. Seems like that climb gets steeper every time you have to do it. You you see an elderly dwarf walk by. He goes, "I'm 500 years old. Those people should get an escalator or something." And you walk up to the door and knock on it. And a few minutes later, the Cyclops you met the last time opens the door. And you lot again. What can I do for you this time?
I'm
Well,
hoping for another audience with the king and queen.
we kind of found the bloke that was missing.
I will go tell the king and queen that you're here.
Thank you kindly.
I will relay to you, however, that the king and queen are not in a jovial mood today.
Oh, bloody hell.
Noted. Thank you.
Right.
Well, no, he goes and tells them and comes back and leads you to the same all-white room you were in the first time when you talked to them. They give you a polite nod at best. The king looks up and goes, "And why are you here again?"
Well, we found the bloke that was missing. He's kind of sort of dead.
Yeah, it turns out he never made it out of Canamir after all. He had a bit of a run-in with your blacksmith, who kind of killed him over a non-payment issue.
Oh, I'm sure you've seen the size of our blacksmith.
Yeah,
Yes, we were just talking to him.
I,
he's quite a large bloke.
so you think annoying him and upsetting him is a good thing? Would be a good thing?
Of course not. I
Not
mean,
at
now he,
all.
no.
Um, but that makes me wonder why the emissary never left Canamir.
I wondered that myself. Apparently, he told the blacksmith that he was going to be leaving on an important mission, but I guess why he hadn't left already is. I don't know. We don't know.
Could have been getting cold feet.
Gilborn's been expecting him for months now. There's gotta be something deeper than this going on.
Yes, but we can't exactly ask a dead body any questions, so not sure who else we'd.
Well, unless you got a necromancer.
Not sure who else would have information about this.
um, well, I have private advisors that I can put on the case as to why he was still here, but this is going to cause an international incident with Gilborn.
Well, I was just assuming we'd go back to Gilborn and explain to the necessary people what happened.
Yeah, well, I regret to say, because of business decisions and other things, our neighbors on either side of us don't trust us very much.
That's a
So,
damn shame.
so
Have you got another uh, member of your staff who could serve as emissary, and we can bring them back to fill this guy's position?
yeah, we do actually. Um, she's been in uh, training. We didn't want to have to throw her out there quite yet, but in this situation, we need to cover this. And he he calls one of his staff over for a second, and then they run off quite quickly, as a matter of fact. Uh, a few minutes later, this tiefling with silver skin and bleached white hair that goes down to just below where her butt starts. And she walks in the room and turns to face the three of you. Says, "My name is Lucretia. I'm the king's daughter. And as of now, I'm the new emissary from Canamir. Your job is to get me there and all of us still be alive."
I'm sure we can do that.
Doesn't sound like your colleagues believe that very much.
Well, we'll do our best, right?
I'm going to go um, start searching for him. Well, no, you said you found him in the blacksmith's.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
bugbears do have a temper, people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I wouldn't want to cross one.
mm, so do you want to start back today or tomorrow?
I think
What
we
time
can
of
wait till
day?
tomorrow.
Well, I can roll for what time it is. There we go. It is 11 a.m. It's just before noon. What do you got? What do you guys want to do?
Let's set out
Yeah.
tomorrow morning.
All right, that works.
I'm okay with that.
And by the way, here's the satchel he had. Don't know if the information's in there or not, but that's one of the issues that he had with the bugbear of not payment.
So, which one of you wants to grab it and investigate it?
I'll
Well,
do
I'm
it.
handing it to the diplomat, new
Yeah, I was
diplomat.
she should probably
Yeah.
Oh,
take a look at
Yeah, I
it.
had the, I had the satchel.
you're handing it to the
Yeah,
um, king of Canamir. This is definitely his satchel. Looks like he has some silver engraving done on it.
and extra locks apparently.
Yeah, he didn't want anybody else getting into this thing, which is kind of suspicious in itself. Uh, you say he didn't pay the blacksmith for this?
Yep, and he also ordered a short sword. He didn't. He refused to pay him as well.
Well, yeah, I can see how the blacksmith would be upset by that. Still wish he hadn't killed him, though. So, it's around noon. You guys, what are you guys gonna do? You gonna go shopping, or what are you gonna go do?
I say we'll go back to the inn for lunch.
Get
Well,
lunch, do a little shopping, and then get dinner and go to bed.
I agree with that.
Okay, well, that's fairly simple. You go back to the inn that you left this morning for lunch, and they have the same 3 rooms if you want to rent them again. So, for tonight, I mean.
Right.
That works.
So, you guys have lunch. And after lunch, what do you investigate after lunch?
Just go check local shops out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you said you were going to go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
You walk down the street of the little, well, of the city at the base of the spire. And there's a lot of shops that have mining equipment, mining supplies. There's 2 or 3 restaurants that look like they cater mainly to dwarves and stuff like that. And a little further down the street, there's a shop that what's hanging on the wall or by the window for people to see is a very thin, almost rainbow pattern dress, but it's dwarf size. And even though you haven't been here very long, the dwarfs that you've seen don't seem like the ones that would wear a dress like what's in the window. So are there any of the stores you actually want to go into?
No, just browsing, really. Don't
Yeah,
unless there's something like a magical weapon shop or something like that.
Well, there is a maid shop on the street. Every town has one. Do you want to go in and see what's there?
Sure.
What weapons does LaFall have?
I've got a long sword with the frost band, which does the freezing temps, the
Yeah.
dimming of all non-magical lights, and a light foot 10-foot light radius as well.
So yeah, you've got a couple of magical items on you. They might be interested in trading something that you have for something if you see anything that you want. Are the other two of you going to follow?
I'll go in just to look around. I don't need anything, but I'll just see what they've got.
Well, I'll wait outside.
Okay, so I'm definitely gonna do a sense magic on these things. Find out what long swords are what here, and if they really are magical.
No. So you're gonna walk up to the sword rack and cast that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They are all magical. Uh, they each have a differing level of magic on them, but they are all magic of some sort.
Okay. Which one has the stronger pull on the magic radiant residual effect?
Probably the two-handed claymore that's hanging off to the right.
Nah, not interested in claymore. Long swords.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the claymore would be bigger. Uh,
Well, a claymore would technically be a long sword for me, but
yeah. But so you move over to where the long swords are, and there's one that if you look at it from a magic point of view, is glowing green.
okay.
And you see another sword over in the corner that has a regular glow on it. It's white. And the closer you get to it, the more of a reaction that the Frostbrand sword under that you're carrying has. You get closer to this one, and your Frostbrand sword starts vibrating.
Interesting.
Um, I need Cannon to give me how would I do this? Um, well, actually, a general perception check will work for this.
Okay. Perception. 16.
There is a sword that you see over there with a dark red hilt on it, and it's trying to talk to you.
To me?
Yeah.
How exactly does a sword try to talk to one?
Well, telepathy, it's probably enchanted.
And there have been swords that, with the right spells, can actually talk, but
Well, I guess I'll go over and see what it wants. That sounds awfully funny when you're talking about a sword. I didn't think it would want anything, but
you pick up the sword by the hilt. The hilt feels warm. And the sword feels fairly balanced. It feels like it was made well. Um, it's the hilt actually has the word tiefling carved in the handle. You don't know whether the being that made it was a tiefling or they made it for a tiefling, but that's what it says. So what do you do with it?
well, I'm going to find the shop owner and ask them about it. Ask them what it is and if there's a story behind it and all.
You do, and it's this grizzly old elf, streaks of gray and white in his beard, says, I'm Lundor, how can I help you?
Yes, I was just wondering what this sword is. It seemed to. Sounds a bit funny, but it seemed to notice me. And I was just sort of wondering what's the story behind it.
No, it was a special sword made for the commander of our army, who happened to be a tiefling. That's why the inscription is, the carving is there.
Uh,
Um, he went, he received that sword a day before our army went into battle um, with underground dwarves, and he didn't survive the day.
I was
This,
assuming not. I suppose that's why the sword ended up here then.
yeah, but strangely enough, the war with the underground dwarves only lasted 3 days. Uh, Nobody was really into it, apparently. Uh, but yeah, that sword's been here for quite some time.
Has anyone else mentioned that it spoke to them? It's a bit strange. Does that mean
Um,
anything?
no, some swords have personalities too. Maybe it saw you and liked you.
Never thought of a sword as having a personality, but I suppose it could happen.
Don't ever get two swords on your back that are enchanted and don't like each other. Don't
Speaking of,
don't do it. Yes. Um, you were looking at other swords over there.
Yes.
What is it you're wanting to find?
Point to
You're,
the sword that's glowing green and says it has a reaction here
yeah.
with one I have, apparently.
Hmm. Well, it appears they are opposite sides of a pear. One is frost and one is fire. Why the fire glows green, I can't tell you that. But
So
they
they
are,
are the opposite side of the matching pair.
yeah, the same. The same swordsmith must have made both of them, and then they got separated.
Okay.
But you're welcome to purchase it if you like, so you can have the pair if you want them. Um, where did you find the one that you have? Did you buy it or did you find it somewhere?
Mom had it.
Your mom had it? Okay. Hmm. Well, why I asked was if you paid for that one, I would give you the one in the pair for the same price. But since you didn't get it that way, because I don't want to take all your money, but it is rare to find the pair like that.
How much?
And that will be uh, 800 gold, but that is a value I will take. Gold, I'll take coins, I'll take gems, anything you might have that may add up to that much. So, what are you guys carrying around with you that you might want to get rid of?
How much for the tiefling sword?
Well, I was going to ask if I could do a partial trade-in on that for my short sword and longbow, and then I could give you the difference because I do more hand-to-hand combat than distance.
Yeah,
I've not used my longbow in quite some time, and I don't need two swords. I've got my
yeah.
great axe, and I think one other sword would do.
He says, for the sword and the uh, bow, I'll give you 300 gold. Um, The tiefling sword is gonna cost you just a little bit more than that. Right now, it's listed at 4.
All right.
Um,
I've
but
got 120 gold on me.
that'll work. Um, as far as the 800 gold sword, um, I know that can be a little expensive. Ooh, Um, I don't necessarily want you to walk out of here without it. So, um, what do you think is a good counter offer for that?
Just a minute. So we have 800 for this sword, 400 for the tiefling sword. Jinx, have you looked at anything, seen that you want something?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yep, I'm positive.
Yeah, right. Look for something.
Well, okay, I'll look for a nice little short sword. Doesn't have to be magical.
Look for something good.
Of course.
you know, at the far end of the sword rack is where he keeps all of his short swords.
All right.
Um,
Let me put it to you like this. Do you have anything that's lightweighted, short sword to help my friend out?
I can go. I can go down and look. I'll be right back. And he walks down to the rack, and Jinx, you're standing there. Is there any particular sword that you've taken a liking to?
Yeah, I kind of like this one right here in front of me.
Do you touch it?
Yeah, I touch it.
You you vanish.
Bloody hell, where I go? Where am I?
You're you're still standing there. You can see the shop and your companions and everything, but
Can I see myself or
you walk over to a mirror and nothing is there.
bloody hell? Am I a vampire? I think I'm a vampire, guys. I think I'm a bloody vampire.
The the owner chuckles. Tell him to touch the blade again.
Yeah, Jinx, wherever you are,
Okay,
touch the blade again.
okay. I think I'm going towards it. I touch it.
And you're back standing there again.
Okay, maybe not this one. Oh
The
wait,
owner says, I don't know, it's a short sort of invisibility.
that's what I thought it turned me into a bloody vampire.
No, you were just invisible.
Oh no, I might take it then.
You, if you touch the sword, you become invisible. You have to touch it a second time to become visible again.
So if I touch somebody with the sword, will they turn invisible or just me?
Just you.
Oh, all right.
For anybody else you attack with it, it's just like attacking with a normal short sword. It
All right
just
then.
it just gives its owner the ability to be invisible.
Okay, well, I guess I'll take it.
Come in handy for surprise attacks.
Oh, definitely.
Um, so he's like, okay, that'll be 1,350 gold total. With discounts and things.
So all three swords, 1350 minus her 300 is 1050.
Yeah.
Okay. Reach into my bag, pull out 2 broken scales.
That'll definitely do it. In fact, one will do it easily.
Okay.
And the owner's like, anytime you want to get rid of more of those, you let me know.
Well, but she's got a whole bunch of them on her already.
Well, yeah, but they don't just randomly fall off.
That's true.
It takes time for them to fall off, unfortunately.
Right, yeah.
Shedding
Well,
season, right?
So,
Which is probably now about another 50 years.
Oh, wow. I thought it goes shed like every 10 months.
so
well, the full. I'll give you the 400 once we get back to Gelborn and I can get to the bank. Because I'm definitely good for it. But yes, I'll pay you back when we get back to Gelborn.
I'm not worried about it.
So you guys take your newly found weapons, and I guess newly purchased, more to the point. Is there anywhere else you want to go before you head back to the inn for dinner?
And I can't think of anything else we need unless you want to hit the open market and replenish our supplies, but I think I'm good for that.
No, I think most of our supplies are decent.
Yeah.
No, I think we're just ready to turn in for the night.
Yeah, let's go get dinner.
Right.
Yeah. Until you go back to the inn, the same dwarven waitress is there, and she once again puts 3 menus down on the table. And she,
Thank you kindly.
what can I get you to drink? Okay.
I'll have some juice, I guess.
I think we've got some sort of juice in the kitchen. Uh,
Well, this seems to be a dwarven run establishment. I'm
yeah.
sure you've got some fine dwarven ale.
Oh yeah. We have um 4 different types right now. One is actually made by that guy over in the corner, and she points to this uh, youngish looking dwarf with standard braided red hair and red beard. And he's talking to an elf in the corner. And yeah, he's one of our locals. He just dropped this off the other day, as a matter of fact.
Well, that sounds good. I'll try that.
Okay. And then, so, Ken is getting ale, Jinx is getting juice. What does LaFall want to drink?
Just a goblet of water.
Okay, I can do that. A few minutes later, she comes back with your drinks. Jinx, give me a perception check.
All right, roll perception. I got it. It's a 2.
Oh, God. Okay. You take a sip of the juice, and you're like, that's an awfully odd flavored juice, but I'll drink it.
Oh, I've had worse.
And and your ale can is in a mug about twice as big as what you're used to. And they bring you the fall this fairly large wooden goblet of water.
Okay.
And she comes back and says, you guys know what you want for dinner?
I think I'm ready. I'll have a steak with a side of vegetables and bread pudding, please.
She's like, okay. The bread pudding I'll have to check on. We haven't had an order of that in 3 months, as I recall.
Really?
Uh,
Well, check on that, and if you haven't got it, let me know what you do have for dessert.
okay. And she turns to LaFall and goes, and what would you like tonight?
Let's see. Steak, chicken, fish, sheep. No, lamb. Not sheep, but lamb. Um,
Hmm. Anything else besides all that?
well, considering y'all made me walk a lot today, I'll take the whole menu.
You could have flown. Okay. She's like, well, that's easier for me to figure out then. Uh, it'll be a while, but I think we can do it. And she turned and heads back into the kitchen. Right after the waitress leaves, you hear commotion coming from behind you. Do any of you turn to see what it might be?
Sure, why not?
Yes, I'll look as well.
I'll take a look.
You realize that Kenna didn't sit down against the wall. There's an actual room behind her. it looks like a normal sitting room, like people can take their drinks and go
Like a
sit
lounge.
down. Yeah. But there's noise coming from it. And the noise seems to be getting louder.
What sort of noise? Like arguing or?
Well, there's some of that. That just sounded like furniture breaking.
Look to see if anyone from the tavern is headed that way.
Not really, no. Most of the people in the tavern are ignoring it.
Well, if no one is jumping at it, I'm not going to jump at it.
Okay.
Might want to mention it to our waitress when she brings the food. See if she wants to go check out what's going on. But other than that, I agree with LaFleur.
Well, some here.
Okay. About maybe 15 minutes after that, she brings the food, sets it in front of all of you, and then jerks a little bit and moves away rather quickly. And can I give me a perception check?
11.
It's enough. On the doorway behind you, you suddenly see a spray of blood.
That can't be good.
Strangely enough, the noises in the room have stopped.
I'm
Tell the
not
waitress.
doing it.
Tell the waitress, go. Perhaps you ought to inform the bartender that something's going on and see if he wants to go back there and check it out.
And she turns and goes, the bartender, who rather disgustedly walks around the bar, heads behind you. And then comes back to the doorway and says, no, this isn't good. Somebody better report this to the king and queen. This is not good.
What's happened?
I don't know how much you saw earlier. The fight between the two dwarves.
Fight between two dwarves?
Didn't see any of that.
They went into the room behind you just before you sat down at the table.
No, don't tell me they're both dead or something.
Uh, you could say that.
Oh, bloody hell.
Okay, so what's the issue with them being dead then?
Uh, they weren't dead from the fight they were having.
What are they dead from?
Oh.
A,
So you're
kni-
saying,
a knife through the back of the neck.
Both of them?
Both of them. It means somebody else was here and we didn't know they were here.
so we probably got an assassin or a spy or somebody. So I guess we gotta protect the princess then. Well, I shouldn't have said that.
And the guy's like, the king and queen are going to be very unhappy about this.
Well, with that blab you had, they're not going to be very happy at all.
Because if you, uh, do any of the three of you go in and investigate the two dead dwarves, or do you just go about your morning?
Well,
Evening, but
Well, yeah, evening.
they're saying the king and queen need to be informed. So I guess we have to find out what's going on. I don't
right.
want to
Um,
peek
I
around the
need to
corner.
I need to go feed the dog real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Do either the other two of you need a 20-minute break?
I'm about ready to fall asleep in all truth.
Okay.
I can
Well,
barely keep my eyes open.
we can. What? Robin feed the dog, and then when she gets back, we can end for tonight. Because
All right, that sounds good to me.
Okay, be right back.
yeah.
Sorry I fell asleep again.
Mm. Uh, well, we did. I didn't notice very much. So, so you guys have fun tonight?
Oh, I had a blast.
Mm.
Yep.
Uh,
So the fire effect.
The what now?
The fire brand.
Oh, okay.
So it's the first brand is cold freezing temperatures, bright light, and 10-foot radius, dim another 10 feet. And then when the sword's drawn out, it puts all non magical light out for a 30-foot radius.
Yeah.
So the fire is going to be putting out fire's going to do what?
Well, it'd be harder to see you without it. But you're in. Are you in your hotel room, or did you decide to sleep outside? Waffle.
I'd be going up to the hotel room.
Yeah.
But what? I just wondering what the effect.
of the firebrand sword, I would actually have to grab a book and look that up.
All right.
Although um, I can do that and put it on Discord.
Yeah, do that
Uh,
later.
um, they're similar only on the fire side, um, but I'll look it up and get exact stats on it and stuff like that.
Sorry about that. Right at 10 o'clock, it lets me know it's food time.
Yeah. So we're actually going to end this here. You're in the middle of dinner, and apparently there's been a strange incident going on while you've been from right behind you while you've been in the middle of dinner. So the bartender and the waitresses have uh, very shocked looks on their faces. Nobody really saw this coming. But we'll pick that up next time we play Dungeons and Dragons. We'll see what the consequences of that little altercation actually are. And, yeah, and next week we'll be back with the second episode of um, Vampire the Requiem Louisville.
Oh, fun.
We had when snow died, or winter died, we had to shift from New York City to Louisville.
Oh, good night, everybody.
So,
Night.
good night. Hope we see you next time. And uh, I'll have this up within 48 hours and probably have the podcast up too. Because the podcast is actually easier to upload than the video. Um, mm, yeah. Things are going to get creepier as we get closer to Halloween. So, we have a Halloween Call of Cthulhu episode coming on the last Saturday before Halloween. So,
Will
keep it.
Kenna survive?
Yeah.
No, I probably will not survive considering I haven't survived the last two Call of Cthulhu games we've played. So no, I'm assuming I will not.
Call of Cthulhu is like that. When surviving with major lifelong trauma is the best option you can come out of that with, yeah. So, um, but like I said, it'll be Vampire next week, and then Cthulhu a couple of weeks from that, and buy all of Robin's books for Christmas presents for your entire family, uh, especially the ones that like to be freaked out. uh, And I think that's all I got. If you guys don't have anything to add.
See you next time.
Yep. Bye.
Later.